Hi friends, this is Jen Open Heart, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a very basic understanding of your human design chart, or also known as your body graph. And so the website that I like to use is called myhumandesign.com. And essentially all you need, very basic information, and that's going to be your birth date, birth time, as close as you can get to it, in addition to where you were born, and of course your full name. So that's the information that you're going to need. If you don't know your exact birth time, you can always get as close as you can. Otherwise, just put in noon for that day, and it might make some things a little bit off. So really strive to get as close as you can to the proper birth time as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And this is a body graph. So like I mentioned, I got mine through myhumandesign.com, which is where I'm also doing my human design reader training. And so all body graphs essentially have the same skeleton, if you will. So they'll have an image that kind of looks like a body. And then there's these shapes which represent different energy centers. And they're typically looking exactly the same regardless of what program you use. The colorations will be different sometimes, but essentially every body graph has these different energy centers, and some of them are gracious enough to even let us hover over them and figure out what we're looking at because it's new and it can be kind of like a foreign language. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, just to give you a very basic understanding of what you're looking at. And so you'll notice that in this chart, my personal chart, some areas are completely white or undefined or open. These are words that are often used pretty interchangeably, especially open, meaning that there's no areas defined inside. So this one is completely open, the crown. You'll notice that these numbers inside are not activated. So in the one below, first was the crown, second is the ajna. In the ajna, I have some numbers and they're activated. So they're colored in. And so that means that this is a gift or a gate that's connected to me and my essence, either unconsciously or consciously. So there's different activations that are taking place. Everybody has a chart that looks pretty much the same, except for the flavoring of the activation. So everyone's body graph is truly unique to them. And that's what's so exciting about it, is that we can use it as a tool, as a method to really understand ourselves. And that's what's so beautiful about human design, in my opinion. So again, these will all look relatively the same. It's more or less a change of flavorings, a change of impression, different activations, different things are connecting to each other, etc. But we all have the same number of energy centers. And so the top one is the crown, the seat of inspiration. Below that, we have ajna, the mind, where we process and intellectualize, conceptualize ideas. Below that, we have the throat, the space of communication, of manifesting, speaking, how we speak to others. Below that, we have the G center, the seat of love and direction. And then to the right, we have the heart, the will, the ego. This is the seat of motivation, among others. And then below that, we have the solar plexus. So this is the emotional awareness. And then to the left, we have sacral, or the seat of desires. Below that, we have the root center, which is the pressure center, the pressure to act. And then up to the left, we have the spleen, one of the oldest energy centers, and this is the seat of the instinct. And so you'll notice that with every body graph that you look at, different ones, different energy centers will be either white or undefined, or they'll be colored in or defined. And so in our body graph, when we have areas that are colored in, especially the energy centers, these will be where we have unlimited 24-hour access to these very particular energy centers. These are our innate gifts. It's a very core essence of who we are, especially if we've stepped out of the shadow of those particular areas. And then the areas that are white are where we're essentially acting like sponges, or we're filtering the world, and we're also getting conditioned by the world because we're essentially so open that we're letting so much information in. We don't have a constant supply. We're essentially sampling from our environment. And so that's why in life and in human design, it's really important what your environment looks like. Who are you surrounded by? What are you doing in a day? What inspiration are you by? So on and so forth. So with that being said, we have these energy centers. As I mentioned, some of them are defined, so that's consistent energy for you, and others are white. So that's ones that you're going to be borrowing from the people, places, things, experiences that you're around. And then inside each of the different energy centers are activations, gates, gifts, etc. So it's kind of confusing when you first look at it, but once you get going with it, it's a lot of fun. And it's really like this beautiful rabbit hole, this beautiful map, this thing that we can use as a really sweet tool to understand ourselves, to step into our worth, and to really get to know ourselves on a deeper level, understanding where we've been conditioned by society to maybe believe certain things, but also where are we having shadow aspects of ourselves that we have not fully owned this particular aspect of ourselves. So you'll notice that some energy centers talk to each other, like there's a direct connection between certain ones, or maybe there's what we call a hanging gate. And so when it doesn't connect all the way across, that's called a hanging gate. So you still have this gift to some capacity, but it's not a complete channel. And then up here, you'll see we have this other information here. It's one side is personality. To the left side is your design or your unconscious. So personality is your conscious gifts, and these correlate to astrology. So any of you out there who are really into astrology, you'll recognize these different symbols meaning different things. And this is all more advanced stuff, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse and sneak peek of what a human design body graph looks like. So that's the essence of it. They're all going to look relatively similar with different stylings, but essentially there's defined and undefined, there's connections that are happening, and these will all help iterate what type of energy type you are, if you have a split definition, single definition, triple split, etc. And it's again tools that we can use for ourselves. And then if you scroll down, you'll see more information. So this one gives me my type, my strategy, so how I am meant to use and wield this particular energy type that I am, which is a manifester. The authority, which is how you're meant to make decisions. For me, that's the ego. Definition, like I said, a little bit more advanced. Profile, so this is my personality. Incarnation cross, not self theme, which is essentially like your internal GPS. And there's some other options here which are a little bit more advanced, but I think that's all I want to share with you today. I hope this was helpful. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight into your chart and how to look at your body graph and to sort of understand how these different impressions are showing up for you, and just what are you looking at? What is this thing? So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to meeting you, potentially having a reading with you. If you're interested, please check out the links in my description, and I look forward to sharing more. Thank you so much.